Hi everyone, how are you? So, we need to talk about the dark feminine. In our world, there's a lot of talk today about the toxic masculinity, and it's a real thing, but there is something called the toxic femininity as well. The law of polarity shows us that, if there's one, there's another as well. If the dark masculine has risen so much, so did the dark feminine. The thing is that the dark feminine has risen to power, so to speak, behind the scenes. So it's not in our faces like the dark masculine, but she's always there. The law of polarity says that it must be the same. So I made some notes because this is a very important topic and I don't want to forget anything. So let's dive into it. And as usual, I invite you to listen to this with an open mind, an open heart, and just allow the information to just be with you. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Just allow it to be. Like a story, okay? Always listen to my information like a story. I even say it in my books. It's very important because when you listen to the information like a story, you listen to it from your subconscious mind, not from your conscious mind. And the truth of whatever information it is will come through in a more aligned way for you. So hopefully that makes sense. So not many people talk about the dark feminine. We are going to dive into it today. So the dark feminine, just as the dark masculine is the shadow of the masculine, is the shadow side of the feminine. It is the unhealed, traumatized, fearful, angry part of the feminine that seeks to destroy and take. Now, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to try to make it a little bit more light, okay? So since every woman is a witch, a wise woman, and I have a video on that if you want to look, women who choose to be in their darkness, in their shadow side, we're going to call them bad witches, okay? Just for the sake of this video, just to make things lighter. So, and you'll understand later why. Because again, a witch is a wise woman, and the dark feminine still has the wisdom, but she just uses it in a very negative way, in a bad way, knowingly or unknowingly. So women who choose to be in their darkness are using their natural power, natural given powers, which they have, whether they like it or not, and the wisdom, the womb wisdom that they hold, again, whether they know it or not, in a negative, destructive, or selfish way. So the women in their dark feminine are destroying the good witch's reputation, other women's reputation. And when a man meets a divine woman and feels her underlying immense energy and power, which again, a woman will have naturally, it doesn't matter. The man is already traumatized, and it mistakes her for the bad witch, for a dangerous woman, a dark woman who he must protect himself from and run from. I've seen it endless times in my life, so many times. I'll give examples later, but a lot of mothers who are in their dark feminine raising sons within their dark feminine, then when the son grows up and meets a woman who actually loves him, and he's literally sees her as a devil. Like, he can't even take her. Again, this is one example, but there's endless examples, obviously. So here are some ways to recognize. I'm sorry, I'm allergic apparently to the city that I'm in right now, so I'm sorry if I have to constantly do that. Here are some ways to recognize the dark feminine energy in women. All right. So number one, the main force of the dark feminine woman, dark feminine period, is manipulation. I also talked about it a long time ago in my videos. These women are extremely manipulative. They have not healed their wounded inner girl, and are usually blaming their men or society, or even a disorder, some sort of a disorder in them, anything external to them, but they will not take the responsibility for who they are and their behavior. Okay, so this is one thing to remember. A dark feminine, just like the dark masculine, by the way, is not able to look in the mirror and do shadow work because they're ruled by their shadow. So they won't want to do any shadow work. It's like, I can't go there, you know? So they blame everyone else. The bad witches are usually using their sexuality to seduce and control the men that they're with, or men that they want to get, or whatever. So, gosh, I'm so sorry. They will use it to keep their men close, even when they act in the most horrific, disrespectful ways. So you will understand it more as I go, so just bear with me. The bad witch will usually gain knowledge, not all the time, but you know, if she's aware, she will gain knowledge of power, of magic, or some sort of energy manipulation work or technique in order to use it against their men or even against other people in their lives, even their children. We'll also get to that in a minute. Again, some bad witches are not aware, they're not very conscious. They are just ruled by their shadow because they are literally, they had no way to heal that wounded inner girl. So some bad witches are going to, and again, I say bad witch just for the sake of this video. I'm reminding you, it's not that women are, you know, it's not that they're bad women necessarily. It's just that they're ruled by their shadow. So if a woman has no way to be aware or have found a way to heal the wounded, traumatized inner girl, she will just completely be controlled by her shadow and won't even know it. She'll think she's a really good person, but she won't even know what she's doing. Some women, if they're older and more aware and they choose to be in their shadow, that's something completely, that's a really bad witch, okay? But it's still dark feminine. You know, both of these examples I gave you is a dark feminine. So, and it's, again, the same goes for the dark masculine. It's the same thing. The dark feminine is not capable, this is important, okay? The dark feminine person is not capable of being a mother, is not capable of embodying the energy of the mother to her own children or to anyone else. It's not, she literally cannot do it. We see that example, for example, like I said before, in mothers who are very consuming of their sons, just their sons. Usually it's, these women are okay with their daughters, they give them more freedom, but with their sons, it's like they see their son as their men. I was married to one of those men, and they manipulate him in serving her own needs, okay? So these mothers, this is for you. These kind of mothers, these kind of women, you know, you got to let your boys find their own path and don't overly take over their lives. This will affect their love life, career, and sense of manhood. Your son is not your man, okay? And does not fulfill any part that's missing in your life. It's very, very important for these kind of women. So the bad witches will usually not be friends. This is a funny one, but it's true. They will not be friends with good witches. They literally can't connect to like these kind of women because they know that the good witch, and again, I'm using the good and bad, you know, words for this video. I'm just reminding you guys, just to make it more light, more fun, not that serious. So the bad witch will not be friends with the good witch because they know, the bad witch knows deep down, even if it's not conscious, that this good witch will see right through them. Like they will see right through their bullshit and manipulation. I've had a lot of these bad witches and I gave them a chance sometimes, but I like immediately have to like, get away from me. Yeah, trying to make it light. Okay. Because, you know, the good witch will immediately see through the mask and through the manipulation, through the shadow. Because the good witch, why does the good witch see through the shadow? Because the good witch has done the fucking work to go through her own shadow. So she acknowledges it and she can see it, but she doesn't want to go there. Like I'm doing my work. I don't want to live in your shadow. I want to live in my light. Okay. And also, so the bad witch will be scared that the good witch will bring to their exposure and will even have the ability to use protection against their baneful intentions. Okay. So I'm really hoping you're understanding what I'm saying. If not, ask me in the comments. I'm trying to make this more light and use the good and bad witch story and analogy to kind of explain to you about the divine feminine and dark feminine and how they work together as well. Okay. Bad witches are extremely selfish, and though they can speak beautiful, seemingly spiritual words sometimes, or on the outside they can look like they're very helpful and nice women and nice ladies. In reality, it's always about them, about their needs, about their pain. They will bring everything and everyone around them to submit to their needs when they need it. And the bad witch will always want people around her to worship her, okay? Like to really worship her and like see her like in the negative egotistical way. So okay. Yeah, and when you're in your divine feminine, you don't want people to worship you. That's why I keep saying to you in every video, it's not about me, it's about the information I'm giving you. Open your eyes, open your heart. You have the wisdom within yourself. Don't worship me, don't worship anyone else. Don't follow anyone. It's time to follow you, but make sure you don't follow your ego and your conscious mind and your programmed mind. Make sure you follow you and know yourself. Okay. All right. So bad witches may even create a sort of a reason to get attention and people's pity by claiming they have some sort of a disorder, a physical disorder even, that makes them act like this or feel bad constantly. So this is another thing that a dark feminine might create, like some sort of a physical or mental illness in order to get pity from people. Not saying that all women who are having a disease are doing that. This is not what I'm saying. I am saying that it is a tactic, a manipulation way that some women will use. Okay, so bad witches. Okay, these bad witches will also work with nature, just like a good witch, because they understand naturally the flow of life. They understand magic, but a big but. They will not care about nature. That is the difference between a bad witch and a good witch. The bad witch will still, they will still consume animals. They will still eat animals because they don't have the actual connection to nature. If you have a true connection to the mother and to nature, you will never eat animals. You will never be able to do that because you literally, it's like eating a part of yourself and torturing a part of yourself. And if you went through that shadow, you won't do it. You just won't be able to do it. And so they will still consume animals and use and take, okay, instead of uniting with nature and working with nature. So this brings me to the basic thing to understand about the dark and light feminine, okay, or the shadow and light, whatever you want to call it. Bad witches, the dark feminine, takes. She takes. They do not receive. The divine feminine receives. The divine feminine is just this container, and they're there, and they're there to, she's the subconscious, she's there, and she receives from whatever, from the world, from the masculine, from everyone, right? And then she transmutes it, and she brings it back to the world. There's a movement there. The dark feminine takes. She wants to take, and then she won't give it back. So there is a stuckness there. There is no flow. So it's a very similar way to the way the dark masculine works. Okay. Now, what to do? Let's talk about what to do. If you have a dark feminine woman in your life, it is vital to ask yourself why you are attracted to her or him. It could be a man with a dark feminine energy, which we'll talk about soon. What are they mirroring to you? What is the unhealed, angry part of you that you see in them? The shadow in you that still yearns to be seen and healed. Okay, these are very important questions. Write them down. If of course you're experiencing something like this. Perhaps they are also pushing you further into your own power, these people, and self-love by putting boundaries. So this is a lesson in boundaries, okay? Bad witches will push all your buttons in the worst way. Like they are the thing is that the dark feminine, which very few people talk about in our world, is even worse than the toxic masculine. Like the dark feminine can be way more dangerous than the dark masculine, okay? Because, of course, women have more power and more natural ability to manipulate energies and do magic, what we would call magic. So yeah, this is why the dark masculine world has been suppressing the dark feminine, because it is more powerful than him, okay? So when you do get this like dark feminine, she can be way more dangerous than the dark masculine ever could. Important to mention. So if you have a bad witch in your life, it means that you need to have healthy boundaries, okay? First of all, this means probably a lot more things, but first of all, you have to have healthy boundaries. Do not allow the dark feminine. Do not allow it. Just like we do not want to allow any more dark masculine. Both of them need to go, okay? We want to create a world of divine masculine and divine feminine. So if you have a dark feminine in your life, just like you have a dark masculine, put boundaries. We do not want that anymore. Like show the universe, I do not want that anymore. And see where that is within you so you can work on your own shadows, because everyone is your own mirror. So if you have a shadow feminine, that means there's still shadow feminine within you to work on. Okay, so they're just a reminder. We are rising above it. Remember, we are creating a new world now. We are rising above the shadow. So we want to connect to our divinity now, whether it's masculine or feminine in all of us. Now, another point is that in this society today, in our time, many men are in their dark feminine. I would repeat that. Many men are in their dark feminine. All right. Not just women. Okay. So many men can be these bad witches that I'm talking about. In fact, the dark feminine is more seen in men these days than women, and I will explain why. Because women have been forced. Remember the law of polarity. Okay. Throughout many years and times and ages, women have been forced to be in their masculine for a very long time. Okay. So, which brings men to be in their feminine, all right? And it's just the law of polarity in play again, like law of polarity, basic truth of our universe, of our dimension. So the divine masculine is awakening now from a very deep slumber and slowly regaining the divine powers that it holds. But for now, women still have to play the roles of feminine and masculine as well, because women are always a bit ahead of men. It's just the way it is. Even in the Jewish tradition, the girl reaches her place of power and kind of maturity a year before the men. So it's just the nature of things. So what do we do? So it is up to us women. I will repeat that. It is up to us, sisters, to go back as much as we can into our divine feminine so that we can give space. Because law of polarity, if we go back to our divine feminine, guess what's going to happen? Men are going to go back to their divine masculine, and we need the divine masculine, okay? More than ever. We need it to rise. So if we want awakened men, this is for you, sisters, but brothers, hear this also. If you want awakened men, we must be awakened women first. We need to take responsibility for all our shit and all our shadows, our deepest pain, fears, and anger, especially towards the masculine. This is something very important to dig in, to dive in, and to acknowledge, and to respect, and to heal, okay? We must admit and acknowledge our strongest shadow. Again, the parts in us that are seeking revenge, manipulation, and that want to unleash fury upon men or the world. These are the shadow parts of the feminine that we must acknowledge, because it's there. We all women in this world hold some sort of amount of that pain and that anger, okay, and that fury that we have towards men. So we have to tap into it and respect it and understand it and heal it okay? We must accept all parts of the feminine within ourselves. Notice what parts of your own feminine that you're pushing away. It's very, very important. The light and the shadow. You know, you must kind of work with your light and shadow both. Don't push any part of you to the side, because in each witch, in each woman, wise woman, there is a good and a bad witch. Just as in every man, there is a God and a devil. All right. Where is your heart closed, sister? I want you to work with that question. Where is your heart closed towards the world, towards your own femininity, and towards men, towards the masculine? What do you really feel towards the masculine and towards men? Do you fear them? Are you angry at them? Do you distrust them? Are you disgusted by them? Go into the ugliest parts of your shadow and really ask these questions. It's so important. We must open and heal our wombs and our hearts. And we must learn to find and seek and see the beauty in the masculine and in men, okay? Healing our portals and our bodies is basic. Returning to the temple as goddesses, and that means really treating and seeing your vessel, your physical body, as a temple, okay? We must forgive, sisters. We must forgive ourselves. We must forgive our parents. We must forgive men. And we must forgive all the pain that they've caused us in any time or space in the past. And we must heal and forgive and release the pain of the ancestors that we're holding in our wombs, because every woman holds that pain. If you ever want to work with me on that journey of you, I invite you to read down below about the Goddess Return program. It's a very intense, powerful, life-changing program for women who are ready to embody the divine feminine in them and the goddess. I also have the Sex Priestess program, but really first I really recommend for you to read Sex Magic Evolution book. It's all the basics of the sex magic school, and it's very important to give you the basic understanding about these energies and how to work with them. Now, sisterhood versus toxic femininity, okay? So in sisterhoods, we are inviting and including people. The divine feminine invites and includes. She doesn't push away. Make a list of all the greatness that you see in women in your life. All the wonderful things that you see in your sisters and women in your life. And if you don't have sisterhood or good witches in your life, ask yourself why. And this is very important. We need sisterhood more than anything else, as a woman, okay, as a woman. The divine feminine talks and she listens and she absorbs, okay? So work on your listening, work on your just being there. It's not easy. It's not easy. Make sure that your sisters around you, women around you, know that they have you for support and that they can reach you if they need it, okay? Make sure to always remind your sister that. That's a very wonderful trait of the divine feminine, to be there and to give support. Keep gossiping to a minimum, okay? I know it's hard to do. We all do it all the time, but gossiping is a very dark feminine trait. So pay attention to when you're gossiping about other people. If you're doing it all the time, then that's a red flag. Pay attention to that. Keep it to a minimum. Be responsible with your sexual energy around men, okay? Your sexual energy is your power as a woman. You were born with a weapon. Use it wisely, because guess what? If you use it to manipulate men and other people, it will bite you in the ass in a bad way, okay? So use your sexuality responsibly. Respect other couples around you. Respect your own body. Respect men. You don't take, receive, and be. Work with your divine feminine. I love you so much, sisters. I pray for the awakening of all men, women, and children on planet Earth, and I serve the Divine Mother now and forever. Thank you.